Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So here's a quick look at all the ingredients that I use for this video. So we are making chicken parmesan with spaghetti tonight and a little salad, and I will list the ingredients below. If you want to see all of the things that I use for this video, just go ahead and scroll down below. Okay, this should be a little bit better. So we're gonna cut our chicken breast in half for the fillet, the Parmesan chicken, I'm sorry. You're gonna make it like a little fillet. So that's one piece, another piece. So with this piece, we're gonna do the same thing, just cut it in half. That's for my daughter. And we have these. Okay, so you guys can see the fillet itself. So I have about 4 pieces. I keep calling it a fillet. So I have about 4 pieces here. And we're gonna season it and get it ready. So you're gonna need at least 1, 2, 3, 4 different pans and containers to just, make the chicken. So let's get started. We'll put the chicken in here. All right. First and foremost, I always season it starting with I think my garlic salt. Let me see. Where is that? Yeah. So I always start with my garlic salt, depending on what I make. If it's like chicken, shrimp, or something like that, I start with that. So I just put that in there. Then I'm going to put some black pepper. And just make sure you use whatever seasonings you feel is necessary for yourself. I don't know if you guys can see my face. But yeah, make sure you use whatever seasonings are necessary for yourself. But yeah, so we're going to black pepper. I'm going to put a little bit of onion powder. I don't know why this isn't coming out. Okay, there we go. Some onion powder. Okay, once the chicken is all seasoned and stuff, guys, this is how it looks so you guys can see. I'm going to add some butter to that and mix it around. Let it sit for a second. So just a little bit of butter. I'm gonna mix it. And let it sit. So this is how it looks when it's sitting ready. Here I have so this is my flour. I seasoned it a little bit with some adobo and the Creole sauce. I have my 2 eggs here, and I have my Panko crumbs here. So that's 3 different containers, and then I have my chicken. So what I'm gonna do, Mina, what's up? What's up? So what I'm gonna do first. So first and foremost, I'm going to take my chicken, put it in the flour, let it sit in some flour. Okay. So I like to just let it sit in there for a couple seconds. We're going to let that sit. Let me wash my hands. Okay, so I'm gonna take my chicken from the flour bowl, put it in the egg, twirl it around in the egg. Then I'm gonna put it with the panko crumbs. You guys can see, just twirl it around with the panko crumbs, play with that a little bit. And then I'm just gonna sit it right back on the cutting board. Okay, so repeat the steps, take it out of the flour bowl, dip it in the eggs, twirl it 1 time, 2 times, put it in the panko crumbs, twirl it around. Set it on your cutting board. Okay. So I'm cooking for 3, so I just have 4 pieces of chicken here, but depending on how many people you're cooking for. Oops. So this one, I did not put the egg. So you have to put the egg. I'm going to show you guys up close how everything looks. So you guys can see when you're ready to make yours. Excuse me. Okay, let me rinse my hands off and then show you guys, okay? My bread. My breaded chicken. So I have the flour here. As you guys can see, I have the egg yolk here, and then the panko crumbs were in there. So, yep, if you follow those steps, this is how it will look before you are ready to fry it. So we're gonna get ready now to fry the chicken. So here we go. We'll do the 2 small pieces first. And as you guys can see, I try to use as minimum oil as possible because you don't really need much oil to fry, guys. You don't. And I could have used an air fryer, but look, I am very old-fashioned. I love my food to taste how it needs to taste. Not everything is for the air fryer to me, so we're just gonna wait on that to cook. And I'll come back in a second and show you guys how that looks. While that's cooking, I have my corn being boiled and I have my pasta getting ready. So as you guys can see, my chicken is almost done. This one's pretty much almost done. I just want to make sure the other side is cooked. Yep. So before going in the oven, okay, so I'm just going to fry my last 2 pieces of chicken. So this is where I put my chicken when it's done. I have my little oven rack, just so you guys can see. And I'm going to put it in the oven once they're done being fried. Okay. While the chicken is frying, we're going to go ahead and get started on the spaghetti. So for the spaghetti, I always make my spaghetti very simple. Onion, you can use any onion. I normally use either sweet onion or I didn't get that this time, so I'm just going to use my purple onion. And just slice them up. I have my bell pepper. I'm just going to use half of a bell pepper. So like I said, half a bell pepper. Always, you never need the whole. Depending on how many people you're cooking for, right? So I'm cooking, like I said, I'm cooking for 3. So if you're cooking for 3 or less, definitely need half. If you're cooking for like what, 5 or more, you can use the whole thing. And you just want to cut it small. You can cut it how you want, but you don't want it to be, you know, all inside your. sauce. So I like cutting them very small. And then I also have tomatoes, so this is very important. The tomatoes, you don't have to dice them, just slice them. So, like that. And I'll show you guys why. Just like that. Start off with one. I'm going to use 1.5, but you guys start off with one, okay? You can always add more. And same with my garlic. I have 2 garlic cloves, so I'm just going to cut those up as well. Very small pieces. That's why I have my small knife for like the really small things, so I make sure I get it perfect. It's so hot. Let me put the AC on. And make sure they're 2 big garlic cloves, not 2 small ones. If it's small ones, use 4. Garlic is very important for pasta. Okay. And I have my 1 green onion. So let me show you guys how it looks. Excuse my daughter in the background. Okay, so now we're gonna start the spaghetti. So we're gonna put this on the stove first, and then we're gonna put the ground beef with it. So let's go ahead and get that started. Let it get soft, and make sure the beef is cooked well done. So this still has some ways to go, but we are almost there. Okay, so while this is cooking, we're gonna make the Parmesan chicken for the oven, so you guys can see. So we're gonna take marinara sauce and put it on top of the Parmesan chicken. Okay, so once we have that, we're gonna take the mozzarella cheese. Okay, so we have the fresh mozzarella cheese here. You can just kind of just place it on. You definitely can get the bigger ones. I didn't even realize these were the balls. So, to save time. Okay, so now that we have the mozzarella on there, we'll add the Parmesan. Then I have fresh and creamy Italian sweet cheese for the flavor. So this is literally just like a little top, you know? Like a little top it off to give the cheese a little flavor. So you guys can see, this is how everything looks before the oven, and it's going now in the oven to boil. Okay, so while that's making, we're gonna make the bread. So for the bread, for the garlic bread, we're gonna use this French loaf that I got from Trader Joe's. You can use whatever kind of bread you want, but I definitely recommend like a French loaf, a brioche kind of bread, or you know, something like that. I'm just gonna make 4 because it's getting kind of late. Or 3 actually. I'll just make 3. I will make the rest tomorrow. So you guys can see. So you need a little container or something for your butter that you're gonna make yourself. So this is parsley. I'm gonna chop it up. So you want to chop it in some very small, tiny pieces. I have 4 garlic cloves here, just regular sized. You want to use a lot of garlic because, of course, it's. But okay, so you guys can see. All right, so first and foremost, I'm gonna take my butter. Need a lot of butter, so you're gonna use about half of this. Excuse me. Take your butter. You want it to be room temperature, of course, just to make it easier on you. Then just go ahead and pour in the garlic, the parsley, and mix. So this is pretty much like a compound butter. And you can put it in like a Ziploc or anything, a little butter tray if you want, and keep it and use it for anything else, really. So I have that. I'm going to add a little bit of my garlic salt to just top it off. And you just spread it on the bread. Okay, we're going to do that on each slice. And make sure it's mixed well so you get like a good balance of the garlic, and the garlic must be cut very, very, like cut it very tiny. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't like biting into garlic. I love it, but I don't like biting into it. I don't like the flavor. So yeah, I like to cut it low. Okay, just so you guys can see that. And we're gonna take our cheese now. We're gonna start this off with Parmesan. And mozzarella. Okay, so you guys can see my bread before it goes in the oven. It's all done. Now that everything is in the oven, just so you guys can see the garlic bread and the Parmesan chicken. I'm gonna take the chicken out in a second now because it's getting a little. Time for dinner. Time for dinner. It's time for dinner? Mm-hmm. Let me take my glasses off because it's getting steamy. It's getting real steamy. It's getting real steamy. Real hot. Real steamy. Real hot. Let me check out my food. Okay, so remember earlier I told you guys that I like to add 2 tomatoes to cut 2. So this is why I cut 2 so you guys can see. I don't like to use too much tomato sauce. I like the tomatoes to kind of sit in there and saute and make its own sauce. So you guys will see. Okay. So with that, I'm gonna take a little bit of tomato sauce. Like I said, I don't like to use a lot. So. I did not record myself putting the tomato sauce in there, but just so you guys can see how much. It's very minute. So yeah. And I seasoned the beef before adding the tomato sauces and all of that. As it was cooking, I seasoned the beef because you want that flavor. So that's that. That's how that looks so you guys can see. And now I'm gonna add the pasta. So don't put everything at once, little by little, so you can mix it so it's the perfect amount. You guys see that? So I just need a little more noodles. I'm just gonna season it a little more. Okay, everything is done so you guys can see the Parmesan chicken. The spaghetti. And salad. And let me get the bread out the oven so you guys can see that. And here's the bread. Garlic bread ready to go. Okay, so we're gonna plate everything and eat. Okay, and we're done. So you guys can see my plate. Here we have the chicken parmesan, spaghetti, garlic bread. Same thing over here, spaghetti, chicken parmesan, garlic bread.